Blog Talk Radio.
Say hi to the audio podcast, everybody.
Hi, audio podcast.
Yeah, this is Big Balls Fantasy Football.
Go.
All right.
Go, Pat, go.
As you can tell, that's Prost over there, here live, and we're at the biggest balls of them all, league draft. And the first round, since we've already filmed this for video, went Steven took Adrian Peterson, Prost took Arian Foster, I took Doug Martin, Adrian took Ray Rice, Ryan took Marshawn Lynch, Cash took Jamal Charles, Jason took Trent Richardson, Raheel took LaShawn McCoy, Smash took Steven Jackson, and Jenilee took Matt Forte. In a very predictable, all green, all running back first round. Anybody have anything to say about their pick? They want to gloat?
Jenilee's a freaking homer. That's all I got to say about that.
She's a homer? She's a homer.
I got to draft him.
That's not why I drafted him. Have you seen him in preseason?
He went
Apparently
crazy.
you haven't. Apparently you haven't seen him.
He went crazy against the Raiders.
Mr. August, yeah, whatever. You see Vince
No. He's been balling. PPR.
He was one of the best ones available by the 10th pick.
Yep, he's been passed to out of the backfield a lot.
It's going to make Aaron Rodgers sit on the bench because he broke it in the preseason. It's preseason, honey. That's all I got to tell you.
Forte's at least.
Oh, Lord.
Did Raheel pick yet? No.
Adrian, how do you feel about your Ray Rice first round pick?
I think he's going to be very strong. I don't think he's going to let me down. I'm solid. I feel very, very good. I like the first round picks.
Okay. Smash, what do you think about your first round pick there?
You know what? I don't think anyone can be mad at the first round picks for any of us.
So, Steven Jackson, you think he's going to have a big monster year coming up on a new team over in Atlanta?
I think there's a lot to prove, and I think he's going to be hungry for it.
All right. And then we have Jason and his first round pick over here. What
Wayne is gone.
Why do we go with Trent?
I went with Trent because I needed a big time back, and he's going to get a lot of touches in Cleveland. I really like that offensive line. However, I'm more concerned that not a single St. Louis Ram has been picked yet, and as a Ram fan, I'm concerned about the lack of talent on the roster.
That's your problem.
Well, yeah, all your receivers left town, and they need somebody.
You guys, I don't want to drop any. Oh wow, he just referred to you as sticker bitch.
Yes, this is Sticker Bitch. I'm Sticker Bitch, and we have Jenilee over there as Internet Babe over there running the board on
Internet bitch.
Internet Babe running 4 things over there. So.
Your balls are showing. There are 2 types of balls. There are big brave balls, and there are little meat balls. Dicks have drive and clarity of vision.
The most important piece of equipment is called the cup. Now, it ain't no Dixie cup, and it ain't no coffee mug. And you certainly won't want to be drinking nothing out of it.
Hey, any balls down there? That's the biggest berry you ever seen, Dingleberry.
Wow, I play with these balls all day.
Well, it's my balls and my word, and I don't break them for no one.
He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Big Balls Fantasy Football here on GRR, the Greg Reifsteck Radio Network. What you just heard was round 1 of the biggest balls of them all draft, and we are going to get to more of that, our reality league, in a minute. But first, we want to welcome all of our new listeners that might have come over from our video cast over on the stream.tv/bigballs. And we want to thank everybody that listened to all of our flashback football shows over the summer. Jenilee and I worked hard on them. We really appreciate it. We run our video cast for a half hour, but we run this one for an hour, everybody. And you're going to get different picks. You're going to get different information. Everybody that has been around with us for Season 1, welcome back for Season 2, and we know even more of you will be coming back to listen to us when we actually get into the season. I want to dedicate tonight's show to Martin Luther King. His I Had a Dream speech was 50 years ago today, and a lot of things in this world would not be the way they are because of that speech. So dedicating the show to that speech tonight. Everybody's in draft mode tonight, and I'm going to get Jenilee on, who I know is in draft mode. Hey, Jenilee, are you there? Hello.
Yeah, hey.
How's it going?
What's going on?
Good. Happy Wednesday. I saw you got to hear at least the ass end of the audio of round 1. Was that fun or what?
That was fun. I actually totally forgot that you recorded some of it. I was so busy doing the online craziness with everyone and Trey videoing. So, I actually forgot about that.
Yeah. I have some other audio clips we're going to play in a little bit. But, also, Trey set us up with, maybe you can tell us who we're going to be talking to tonight, the Section 357 Ball Street Journal podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. We are going to be talking to Ron from their podcast, and he's actually a Chicago Bears fan as well. So we're just going to introduce the Section 357 podcast because we're going to be doing a little joint action with them.
Definitely. That's going to be really fun. We're going to do some more flashback fun that a lot of people listened to it over the summer, a lot of the Bears games that we had going, and we're going to bring some more of those to you when we're not killing ourselves on our video show for you guys. Go to the video show at thestream.tv/bigballs or go to the stream.tv YouTube page and watch it because Jenilee and I both have different picks on there. Also, you can tweet us at BigBallsFBall. That's at BigBallsFBall to ask us questions at any time, and we'll answer them here on the air. Or you can go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/BigBallsFantasyFootball, or the hub, the big old hub, the big rock and roll hub at BigBallsFantasyFootball.com, where you can go to all of our social media, watch all of our latest stuff there. If you don't want to go to the stream.tv, that'll link you up to it. So, the draft was fun, and I wanted to, before we got to Real Men, play a few more clips. But what would you say, Jenilee, was your highlight of the draft?
Getting started.
You want to take us through the technical difficulties?
A little bit. So we started an hour late, but we ended up getting everyone in, so that wasn't so bad. But I don't know, my favorite part, that's hard. I guess I liked my Tate and Tate part. I know I talked about that on the show last night, but that was kind of cool, taking Golden Tate in the 9th and then Ben Tate in the 10th on the wraparound. So
Yeah. In the opening clip, you'd notice everybody took a running back, and the running backs went fast and furious. So then came the quarterbacks, which there's tons of them out there, and any analyst that's worth their salt will tell you, you can pick up a quarterback on the waiver wire at the end of the draft and still probably be able to start them. But this Tate and Tate thing, which I do have the audio clip for, was a total anomaly. Do you want to listen to it?
Absolutely.
Let's lay it down here.
I don't know.
So I think we have a fantasy football first here. Jenilee has done a wraparound on the round 9 and round 10, and for some reason she's picked back-to-back Tates, Golden Tate and Ben Tate.
Little man Tate. Yeah.
Because Tate and Tate are both on contract years. So Golden Tate is the go-to guy in Seattle on a contract year, and he's in his, fourth year? Fourth year? And then Ben Tate is on his contract year in Houston, and Foster is going to get injured.
I was going to say, do you have anything special to say to PROST over on the other side of the room?
Foster will be injured.
Yes. Yeah.
So I Tate and Tated it up.
Yeah. Good job. Good job.
Right. What's going on? Actually, Jenilee's got it right. Guys in their contract years do squat. But in their contract year, it's on, and they score to get that money, and they slack off after that. Yeah. The contract year player is the guy you want to have, people.
Jenilee, it was so impressive PROST even agreed with you. Miracles do happen.
I know. That never happens because we had the little argument about Forte, so.
he came to his senses, man. Yeah, I mean everybody was there. Yes.
What was your favorite part of the draft? We didn't get your answer on that.
My favorite part, honestly, was just getting to pick third and getting Doug Martin, damn it, because he's going to be a stud. And starting any good draft, you want to have that good player in your first round. And I was just happy after that. And actually, I forget, I made one really good steal. Let me look at the board really fast here. I made one really good steal with Victor Cruz. Adrian was about ready to take him in the fourth round, and she ended up with Roddy White, which isn't a bad consolation prize, but I am a firm believer in Victor Cruz. I was all last season, and PROST stupidly took Amendola before me, who we all know Amendola is just, a Mr. bull in the china shop. Something's going to break soon. So we'll see. That was my favorite moment. Yeah.
I mean, Cruz is a great pick because Roddy White, is getting a little bit older, and so I think they're going to be using Julio Jones a lot. And Hakeem Nicks is always injured for the Giants, so being able to get Cruz. A lot of wide receivers fell, to like the deeper rounds a little bit, so that was kind of interesting.
There was a lot of value in that late in the draft, strangely enough. Well, probably because we shot our wad on running backs like hard early.
Yeah, and then because of how we score, because our league is really quarterback heavy with getting a point per 10 passing yards, that's why I took Drew Brees in the second round, because I normally wouldn't take a quarterback, that early. So that was another thing that I didn't really get to explain on the stream last night, that we are really quarterback heavy, hence me taking a QB in the second round.
Damn straight. I'm really jealous of Smash. She has both of the running quarterbacks, and I'll talk about another one of them in my sleepers because they're plentiful this year. And I mean, the league is definitely morphing into a different type of league with the running quarterbacks. But she ended up with Vic and Kaepernick. I'm super jealous. So let's go.
Yeah, she stole Kaepernick from you.
I know. Well, I had to take Brady early. You don't take Kaepernick in the second round. You take Brady. That's just the way it is. I'm going to play one more quick clip here. I thought it was funny. Jason Tufeld, our diehard Rams fan, shows up all in Rams gear, ready to go, but then it was a weird part of the draft, and he pointed it out, and it kind of pointed out his weirdness as well. So let's play it.
So we have Jason here, who is a
Seahawks defense.
So this takes the Seattle Seahawks defense, but it only took until the seventh round for Daryl Richardson, a Ram, to finally come on the board. Why do you think it took so long for that to happen?
Because people are not educated about how good the Rams are going to be this year.
Ooh, okay. I like that.
From a Rams fan who's going to say that.
Yeah, how many Rams do you have on your team, Jason, for the record?
Well, I have to.
I'll cough for you. Thank you.
What had happened was...
All right. I was walking across the street and I lost my... Yeah, okay.
Always good to point out the fact that there are no Rams on the board yet, but you're a Rams fan and you haven't even picked one yourself. Really pathetic.
That was definitely a funny moment, but I ended up picking a Ram. I got Jared Cook later, so...
Uh-huh. Hey, that's a solid tight end pick. Anyway, we have about 10 minutes until we have our guest, so let's ramp this up here and get you on your real men. Are you ready?
Absolutely.
All right, we're doing sleepers this week, everybody. Sleepers, so listen up.
Take you sunny
the Real Men sleepers this week, and I did 3 different ones on last night's show since Greg is also doing 3 different ones. So I have my first one is wide receiver Ken Tompkins. I actually took him late in the draft. I had to write him in, but
you wrote him in. You wrote him in. There wasn't a sticker. I love it.
I took him in the 12th round. I wrote him in. But he's had 13 receptions for 142 yards in his first 3 preseason games, and he's actually played more snaps with Tom Brady, and Brady has targeted him more than any other Patriot player so far. So I know it's only preseason, but I still think that matters. We know that Belichick and Brady are pros at making stars out of quote-unquote nobodies. So he's a rookie, and, they can make him a star. And also, the Patriots had the number 1 offense in the regular season last year, and right now they're at the number 5 offense in preseason so far for this year. So obviously, we know the Patriots always have a good offense. It's hard not to take an offensive player on the Patriots. So what do you think about that one, Greg?
We talked about this before, the fact that who is Brady going to throw to? We have one guy in the clink. We have another guy banged up at tight end. You have Amendola, who's going to go down at some point probably. Somebody's got to step up. Looks like it's going to be Tompkins. So, hey, great right-in pick there.
Yeah. So let me move on to my second one is tight end Anthony Fasano. No one's really talked about him, but, we're on sleeper picks. He has caught 6 of 7 targets in his first 3 preseason games. And Kansas City did give him a 4-year, $16 million contract, so they definitely intend on using him. And then my other reason for this one is because Andy Reid is going to run a high-powered offense, so, he is another weapon if the receivers are covered that they could use. So, he might be worth stashing on your bench. What do you think about that one?
I think that's another great pick. Let's go on to the next one.
Okay, and then my last one is running back Eddie Lacy. Juwan Harris is going to be out for the season. We just found that out this week. So Lacy is going to be the guy. He's going to have a much larger role than just splitting carries 50-50. The Packers also need a running game since Rodgers was sacked 51 times last year, and they need to create some balance for their passing game. So I really think that, them getting a running game is obviously going to help. And then he's looked really powerful as a back so far in the preseason. He did have a tougher game in his 3rd preseason game, but he also played the 2nd best defense in Seattle's defense. So I wouldn't take that too much to heart. He played a tough defense, but I think for the season he'll be a great guy to get on your roster.
Oh, he's going to be a stud. I was so jealous that he went so early. I wanted to get a hold of him later. But, it's no secret who's going to be the running back there. So, he's just going to go off. So, he's it. That's why they drafted him. We will see if he can break the curse of the running backs on that team for getting injured, though.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing, and he did just heal from an injury, so we'll kind of see about that. So yeah, those are my guys. Good, all awesome picks.
Let's go into beast mode. It's your favorite sound effect, Jenilee, Godzilla. You love it, right?
I know. Yeah? I do love it.
There we go. That's what it sounds like in my stomach after I eat about 12 hot wings over at Big Wang's. Yeah, that's about it. So, anyway, let's get down to the beast mode sleepers here. I gave some different ones on the stream, of course. Go over and you'll get 3 different sleeper picks over there. Very quarterback heavy this week. Terrell Pryor, I was watching the game between the Bears and the Raiders, and I'll bring up Jay Cutler last, but Terrell Pryor of the Raiders, everybody kept watching him, and I'm watching him at Raiders fans, and everybody's like, man, that Russell Wilson, man, he really ain't cutting it, you know. We were hoping, not Russell Wilson, sorry, Matt Flynn. I'm thinking of the Seahawks. And, of course, he lost his job, too, Russell Wilson, and they're like, man, he don't look like no Russell Wilson. He definitely this Matt Flynn guy. Now we know why he was second there, and now we're stuck with him. Blah blah blah. He was getting eaten alive by the Bears defense. We were just molesting him gently. It was just amazing. I mean, this guy. The good thing. Again, running quarterbacks are hot right now, and Terrell Pryor can get out of the pocket and run, and he's going to have to do that because we all know about the Raiders' suspect O-line. So he's going to have to extend those plays and make something happen. What's that mean for you as a fantasy owner? You're going to get some points off of some damn nice runs. He did a few against our Bears, against our second and third squads. I think he's going to do good against some first squads also. Dennis Allen's offense is very pass happy. He's had there have been reports that he's had some mechanics problems. He seemed to have worked them out. He was throwing some zingers in there in the Bears game. So I know you didn't get to catch a lot of the second half, Jenilee, but I thought he was looking pretty hot. What do you think of that pick?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with it. I like it.
Next, we have Andre Roberts, or Rogers, as I called him on the show last night, right? Andre Roberts. Carson Palmer is going to be throwing to Larry Fitzgerald like a fiend, but Andre Roberts is the slot guy, and the reason I didn't have Andre Roberts as my pick last night is because he was off for an MRI. Guess what? He showed up for practice on Monday. So that means he's in the clear, or he's a little dinged up. His quad must be okay, mustn't be that serious. He's going to be your slot guy. And in Bruce Arians' offense, we of course know they're going to be pass happy. They actually have a line, as Jenilee has pointed out many times. Carson Palmer is actually going to have some time to pass. And I think Roberts is going to be a great late get him in like the next to last or the last round. You're not going to want to take him early. Definitely a sleeper. Definitely somebody that somebody might be looking for when he gets hot and he isn't there on the waiver wire. So what do you think of that one?
I really like him because, even if Arizona's line isn't, perfect, Carson Palmer is a guy that he likes to throw the ball. So he is going to find a way to throw it. And I also like Roberts because he is in a contract year as well. That's kind of my thing this year that I've been talking about. So
totally.
It's definitely he's a good pick for your bench, and hopefully he'll ball out.
We are on the same page because you must be psychic, because I'm about to talk to the ultimate person that's important to both of us that's in his contract year, Mr. Jay Cutler, ladies and gentlemen. And I, of course, watched him play the Raiders, and he lit them the hell up. 27 points in the first half, combined with some awesome Matt Forte running, 252 total yards, 14 first downs in the first half of the game, the first squad. Jenilee, didn't that get you super excited for the season?
Yeah, it did, because we saw him throw to more people than just Brandon Marshall. That was making me a little bit nervous in that second preseason game. So actually, Marshall, made some mistakes. He had more drop balls than we pretty much ever see from him. So he just kind of seemed like he was having an off day and he was in his head. So it was good to see that other people were stepping up and that Cutler was, trusting other people to catch the ball.
Yeah, he dropped the ball, and Martellus Bennett unfortunately dropped the ball a few times, and our backup tight end. Guys, when you're right in front of the quarterback and he throws it right to you, watch it into your hands, then turn around, you're all alone, nobody's even around you, and then you can run with the ball. The best part was Alshon Jeffrey looked fantastic. 7 receptions, 77 yards. I mean, Cutler went 12 for 21, 142 yards. All of his passes were on. There were 5 drop passes by everybody else, so it was. I think Jay Cutler both Carson Palmer and him are the two sleeper quarterbacks I think you can get in the late rounds. Jenilee, I see our guest on the line here, and I know he loves Jay Cutler, so I'm going to bring him on right now. Let's see if he's there.
Awesome.
Hey, Ron, are you there?
Hey, how you doing, guys? How are you? Thanks for having me on the show.
Hey, Ron.
Good.
Pleasure to have you on.
Thank you for inviting me. I caught the end of the conversation, so I heard drop balls, I heard Brandon Marshall, and I heard tight end, so I'm going to assume that's the Bears.
Yes. What I better say, it looks like we have 4 minutes. Everybody better get into the draft room right now on our NFL.com draft, because we're going to be drafting live on the air here, aren't we, Ron, in your league?
Well, actually, we had a slight technical difficulty, so I want to tell we still are going to have the draft. Don't worry. I want to tell everyone out there, when this is fantasy rule number 1 about organizing a draft. When you organize a draft, make sure you have people who will accept draft invitations on time. What happened was, NFL.com, basically, if your draft is not full a half an hour before it starts, they postpone your draft automatically. So we had a late straggler who decided to just now accept this draft invite like 20 minutes beforehand. So we can still talk fantasy. That's cool. Unfortunately, the live draft part we're not going to be able to do. We will still have the draft.
I just saw that. It's in the middle of the draft. Let's see who I got. I'm just kidding. Jenilee and I can totally feel for you, because we had a wonderful room that Jenilee had booked for us, all set, and all of a sudden we have 8 people in there, 7 people in there, and the Wi-Fi doesn't work. Oops.
We had to run down to my apartment and squeeze everyone in. So same thing happened to us.
You're right. So I definitely apologize. I know we were supposed to do the live commentary, so definitely apologize. But
no, you're Bear fan. So I was listening to I was checking out your guys' podcast, and one of them was very Jay Cutler heavy, and I just picked him as one of my sleepers in the draft. Tell us your take on Mr. Cutler this season.
Well, I think kind of the feeling around Chicago, I know you guys are out there in California, the feeling out here, apart from the fact that it's a contract year for Jay Cutler, I think a lot of people in Chicago, even your people who are super Jay Cutler in his corner people, are kind of at the point with Jay where it's almost put up or shut up. Jay's now entering I'm in that corner too. The Jays entering year 5. We've got 1 playoff win to show for it. And as much as you can say bad O-line, change of coordinators, change of system, all that is perfectly legitimate. At some point, the talent has to match numbers. And Jay's numbers as a Bear have been, while they've been better than anything we've seen because the Bears' quarterback history is just that bad, it's average to what was expected. I think a lot of people now are starting to say, like, is this guy really elite? He's got elite talent, but can he bring it together and give me elite numbers, lead me deep into the playoffs? So I think a lot of people, despite all the changes in regime, are still very much like, Jay, let's go already.
Well, and definitely in a fantasy sense, sorry, Jenilee, just real quick, in a fantasy sense, he hasn't delivered. So I think a lot of
Jay is not. If you fantasy players, Jay has not been a fantasy friendly guy at all.
Yeah, B. Marsh has, but he has not. So, Jenilee, what were you going to say? Sorry to cut you off there.
No, it's okay. I was just going to say, on the Cutler note, I think it's something that we see him get in his head a lot, And when you watch the elite quarterbacks, they're able to put a bad play behind them, and he has a difficult time doing that. So I feel like people are kind of expecting him to be able to, move on and continue in the game. And also, this is the first year that he has hopefully somewhat of a decent offensive line. And so I think that's another reason probably why Bears fans are like, all right, we've given you weapons, we now have given you a line, so if you can't do it this year, then, we might as well move on.
Yeah, and I think the issue with Jay, I think, from a fantasy perspective, I mean, obviously Brandon Marshall has kind of been his favorite guy ever since he's been in the league. But the issue for Jay is that if you're trying to pick not necessarily other Bears, but if you're trying to really kind of get your team lined up, Jay doesn't really help you at anything because his numbers don't stand out. Like, you would pick Brandon Marshall, you would pick Matt Forte, but Jay, as the trigger man for his offense, is still maybe an 8. I mean, depending on how deep your league is, you're talking about an 8th, 9th round pick as a backup quarterback because it just doesn't match. The numbers haven't matched despite having his favorite toy. It still hasn't added up to great numbers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah. I mean, he's spread the ball around a lot. Besides Marshall, and then what ends up happening is you had Johnny Knox, who was good, and then unfortunately he has a season-ending, not just season-ending, career-ending injury, and then you had our other Bennett at wide receiver, who's been pretty good, but exactly you can't rely on him either, and then Alshon Jeffrey ran route, he had the injury, but also he's been suspect at running routes. He looked good last week, finally. But again, it's preseason, so the jury's out, and we're going to have to see. We have somebody else from the Section 357 podcast. Trey, are you there?
Yo, what is up, people?
Hey, how you doing?
Man, I'm good, man. I'm over here listening to you guys talk, and I'm realizing that this entire place is infested with Chicagoans.
Yes. What's your allegiance, sir? Speak.
Come on. I am a Tennessee Titans fan all the way through, so I'm glad to add some royal blue and powder blue into all of this orange and navy.
Mhm. I didn't see on our draft board. You photographed for us and everything. Besides Johnson, we didn't really see a whole lot of Titans on the fantasy board. Why do you think that is?
Okay, I mean, I'm going to be perfectly honest here. When it comes to wide receivers, which is, outside of just the quarterback and the wide receiver, most of the people that get drafted on teams are wide receivers, and most of our wide receivers are either fantastically average or incredibly injury prone.
Are you talking about Kenny Britt? Are you talking about Kenny Britt there? Would you be referring to?
I hate to even say his name out loud for fear that he might turn his head too quickly and injure his neck. This man could get injured in a strong breeze. I mean, but the thing is, it's like, he's so good. He's incredibly, incredibly good. He's got the speed. He's got the vertical. He's tall. He can get physical with, I hate to even say get physical. But the thing is that he's only going to be good for about 6 games out of the season before something tragic happens.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. But who else on your team would you say? I mean, do you think your quarterback's going to hold it together enough this year to stay injury free?
All right, Steven, that's the other $1 million question. What is up with Jake Locker? The sad thing about it is, on most quarterback lists, he's pretty much in the bottom 20. I've seen him as low as 30, 31 as far as rankings of quarterbacks. Nobody really knows what's going on with him. But see, that's one of the things that the Titans did, is that we upped our offensive line. We put a lot of time and attention into protecting Locker, and then more importantly, to make sure that CJ has the right critical holes to run through, so CJ can do what CJ does. But to get back to Locker, he's still not really proven, which is sad because, you know, this isn't his rookie year. This isn't the sophomore jinx anymore. He's running out of excuses. But the good thing is that he's had a really good preseason, you know, a lot better preseason than most of us expected, and a lot of that is attributed to the offensive line and him having time to actually get the ball out of his hands. We also got a really good new wide receivers coach, the same wide receivers coach that the Detroit Lions had. So our wide receivers are actually running with a little bit of purpose this time around. They're getting crisper, cleaner routes and making the decisions a little bit easier for Locker. With CJ and Sean Green stepping up in the running game as well, it's forcing those safeties to kind of have to pull up a little bit closer because they have to respect the run a little bit more, which gives us a better opportunity to drop the ball out in places that those safeties can't fill in. So he's got potential, man. We just got to see what happens.
Oh, that's the Titans report. That's definitely the Titans report.
And I took an ex-Titan. I took Jared Cook.
That's right. He had to run to another team, basically. But seriously, Trey, let's get you, and then I will definitely go to Ron. We've been talking about sleepers. Give me one or two good sleepers that you would say people should be grabbing in the draft this weekend.
My sleeper pick is Dexter McCluster for Kansas City. He's like Percy Harvin Light. He hasn't really been able to show us entirely what he's going to be capable of because he's getting over some type of illness right now. But as soon as he shakes it off, it's been said in numerous reports that he's going to have a very large part in Kansas City's offense. So he's already going to be the set kick returner and punt returner. So if those points are available to you in your league, if your individual players get points per kick return yards and touchdowns, then he's definitely somebody to look at. He's also going to be incorporated into the running game to help out Jamal Charles a little bit. The read option, of course, is the new offense to be run, and he looks like he's going to have a pretty big part in it. He's also going to be lining up as a wide receiver. So if you are a fan of people like Percy Harvin and Cobb, then check out Dexter McCluster for Kansas City. I think he's probably one of the sleeper pick home run hitters this season.
Yeah, Cash had him as one of our gambles, and it's good to hear a second person back him up. Ron, who do you think one of the sleepers is in your draft?
I think when you talk about sleeper fantasy picks, the guy I think is going to be pretty successful, and I hate to say this because he is in my division, is Reggie Bush. Detroit obviously has heavy offense, but I think Reggie's kind of ability to catch the ball out of the backfield, I think he's a better runner, a more durable type back than people think. I think with the way Detroit kind of spreads it out with Megatron, Reggie I think is a guy that you can probably get middle late of a draft, depending how deep it is, and kind of use as a flex guy. So I think you can eat off of pretty well. So Reggie would be that guy.
I hate to say it, Reggie's been going pretty early in the drafts that I've been in. Unfortunately, not to bite on you there, he isn't the best kept secret anymore. I think everybody is banking on the fact that, I mean, this is kind of it. He's on a new team. There's no excuses. You know, the Saints, he started hot, and then he got kind of cold, and then, you know, he went over to Miami, and, I mean, now it's like, do it. Just do it already. So I agree with you, though. I think he's going to do great. Jenilee, I know you're a big Reggie Bush fan.
Yeah, I definitely am. He was one of my free agency picks. And another running back that is he's smaller than Reggie Bush, but he has similar talent that I think a lot of people won't pay attention to is Darren Sproles. So everyone kind of forgot about the Saints because of Sean Payton not being there last year. And so I think that people don't realize the Saints are going to be back in full form this year. And Sproles is another guy that PPR-wise, he catches the ball a lot, gets in the end zone a lot. So he's kind of the guy that might go in, more toward like the 4th, 5th round. And people forget about him.
Okay, everybody. So if we were actually doing the draft, who would you take first? I'm just kidding. Anyway. I was just totally kidding. If you're going to give somebody has a lot of wind. Trey, I think it's you. You need to close a window.
Oh, I'm so sorry if that is me. I apologize.
No problem, no problem. It's just so we can hear. Perfect. Sorry, I know it's very hot here in LA, so you have to have the windows open or you're going to die. So tell us a little bit about, we're talking to people that just tuned in. We're talking to Trey and Ron from the Section 357 podcast. I was looking online at what their podcast is about, and I listened to a few episodes. Tell us basically what's the mission statement of your podcast, and you guys have a ton of episodes. Tell us how long you guys have been around.
We've been doing a show probably at about 3 years. Actually, we're getting ready to have our 300th episode in about 2 weeks. Really just kind of four guys who love sports, like you all, and just kind of decided one day, hey, let's just see if we can put it out there into the internet and see what type of reception we get. And we've gotten pretty good reception. You know, the four of us all are full-time jobs and fathers and husbands, so, you know, we're not doing this for pay or anything like that. It's just really the love of sports, and we got a great producer in Floyd, who you all might meet at a later date. So, you know, we just kind of get together once a week, talk sports. We have different people of interest on, other bloggers, other independent sports talk hosts, and we just kind of chop it up and have fun. And really it's getting a different perspective. Our show, we have a lot of music. There's a big hip-hop influence, and we try to take it a little bit different than what the major networks do. You know, I think you kind of get those canned subjects, Tebow, Manziel, and who's hot, who's not. Like, we try to do something different with our show. I think that's kind of been our mission.
You can't help but rip on those guys, though. I mean, it's pretty hard not to. But I get what you mean. I mean, we try to do that too. We try to just not talk about everything that ESPN is talking about. NFL Network, we know how stale they are. They're just, you know, talking to Middle America, basically. They're talking to Middle America. You have ESPN talking to the East Coast crowd and are very, whatever is happening over there is everything in sports, whereas there's a whole rest of the country. And so where are you guys based out of? Where are most of you guys from?
Well, I'm in Chicagoland. Obviously, Trey's out there in L.A. Floyd and Derek, who you hear on our show, they are based out of Atlanta. So we got Falcons, and Derek is actually a Rams fan. So we got the Falcons, the Rams, the Titans, the Bears. So we're covering all parts of the league. But he's still, you know, we just kind of united by this love of sports, and this is how we do it.
Yeah,
one of the things I was going to say, one of the things that I think that kind of separates our show a little bit is that if you've ever wanted to know, you know, what like four best friends just sit and just talk about, that's kind of like what our show is about. I mean, we talk a lot about conversations that we have over our text messages, and like my phone is always buzzing and going off with what me and the fellas are always talking about. I mean, we argue and fight like nobody's business, but it's all love. And we take that same energy and we put it into the show. And then like Ronnie said, you know, it's got the sports and the hip-hop element to it. So you get a chance to sit in on some of our conversations as we take on the sports world, as we take on the entertainment world, everything from movies and music. But primarily it's sports with a very strong like undertone of hip-hop. So it's like a mixtape. If you ever just wanted to sit down in the barbershop and kind of know what it is that we chop it up and we talk about, this is the show for you. So check out the Section 357 show and just get a chance to check out, you know, four best friends just letting each other have it. It's intelligent conversation. It's nobody acting a fool. You know, you're gonna laugh and you're gonna learn something.
Where can we find it at?
Oh, hello? Ronnie, you're the best part of this, man. Give them all the details, Ronnie.
Lay it down. Hello?
Did we lose him?
Oh, I think Ronnie stepped out.
He's still up there.
Okay.
All right. I did put a link up on our Facebook page that they can get to. I mean, you guys are at facebook.com/section357, right? And you guys have links.
We have our Facebook page. We have a Tumblr page. You can check us out at the Section 357 Twitter. Hit us up there. We're definitely going to be having some conversations with you at Big Balls. We got some cool things in the future planned out, hopefully between the both of us. So yeah, check us out Twitter, Podomatic. You can download our podcast on the Stitcher app, and you can also download us on the Apple iTunes app as well.
Yeah, I saw you guys are on iTunes. Yeah.
And going into our little pairing up act, let's kind of talk about and tell the fans what's coming in the video cast portion of you guys guesting our little segment that we've come up with.
Oh yeah, absolutely. For both of our fans and all of our constituents, we plan on joining ranks and having some small friendly competition between the two podcasts, between Section 357 and of course Big Balls. I don't want to go into the full details, but we're going into the details about our fantasy draft and all of that. I mean, I don't want to let the full cat out of the bag just yet.
Well, we can give a little taste. The taste is going to be basically we're going to do an old versus new fantasy football face-off, and that's all we're going to say. But it's going to be unique, and it's going to be fun, and nobody's done it before. And after we do it, people are going to steal it. That's all I have to say. So all I know is everybody I took what you guys thought of over there at 357, and it reminded me of a conversation I got stuck having for an hour. You know, Trey, you just talked about it, 4 people sitting around talking, friends. Your friends are at the bar, and there was an argument about, in basketball, if 2 different teams went against each other, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and Dennis Rodman went against the big 3, LeBron and them from the Heat, who would win? And it lasted an hour, the conversation. I had to leave. It was still going on. So we're going to touch on that kind of a vibe, I think, aren't we?
Oh, yeah, I mean, exactly. I mean, you have to ask yourself, if Walter Payton, I'm going to give some Chicago love, if Walter Payton were to run up against, I don't know, let's say like LaDainian Tomlinson, or even better yet, Adrian Peterson.
Yep, that's a better comparison.
Who would be the most dominant? So I think we come up with an interesting way to try and put it out in a statistical kind of format. I'm trying not to give away too much because honestly, man, I'm really excited about it because it hasn't ever been done before. So just keep that in mind to all the viewers.
And to just touch on it, I think that kind of the fun part is going to be through us doing some very interesting comparisons. You're really going to see how the game has changed. How much the NFL has changed maybe in, only 10, 15, 20 years. So I think that's always cool because there's always, that debate as well.
Yeah, you mean the difference between players juicing and not juicing? Excuse me. Anyway, but I didn't say that out loud. I did not say that out loud. Jenilee, you're going to or Trey or Ron, you can say, Jenilee's going to be on your show too, right, coming up?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. If you're a fan of the Section 357 show, we've been trying to kind of dabble in your realm a little bit because you guys are definitely the fantasy football experts. And we wanted to, maybe spice it up on our show a little bit and borrow one of your amazing hosts to give some fantasy tips. Fantasy football is definitely one of the fastest growing sports, I guess, in itself out right now. I mean, it's really clicking along right now. That's what makes your show amazing. And it would be amazing if we could get like just a tidbit of the magic that's on your show and then bring it on to ours. So we're going to hijack a host for a show or two a little bit down the line, and then maybe we can get some of that wisdom spilled onto our show.
Well, if you're going to hijack somebody, I would definitely hijack Jenilee over me. At least, if I were a betting man. So, good choice. Definitely a good choice in Jenilee there.
Yeah, and it's going to be fun because we're going to do it, probably about once a month. So we're going to be able to give you guys some reviewing from what has happened in the last few weeks, and then I'm going to try to be a psychic and predict what's coming next few weeks. So it'll definitely be fun. I'm excited to do it.
I love bringing the podcast together. It's always fun. We have a few more minutes. I'm going to throw one crazy random question out there. Ron, are you back yet?
I think Ron had to step out. I think he had some technical difficulties with his phone. But,
okay, cool.
But go ahead and you can throw some stuff at me if you want, man.
Well, I'm going to throw it at all three of us because I haven't asked this question on our podcast yet, and it kind of always – you can always kind of tell somebody's personality, even though it's the same genre. What is everybody's favorite football movie? Because there's only about 15 or 20 of them in existence. Trey, let's start with you. What's your favorite football movie?
That's easy. Not only is it my favorite football movie, but it also has the name of the most amazing team of all the sports history. Let's remember those Titans, ladies and gentlemen. What can you say about this movie? It's got Denzel Washington. It's got football. It's got kids. It's got trials and tribulations and segregation and overcoming. It's amazing. It's come on, man. Remember the Titans. And I also want y'all to remember these Titans, this royal blue, this Navy, this season. Tighten up, baby.
Good one. Jenilee, go for it.
Oh, I don't know. See, you throw me off sometimes with these questions.
I'll give you a chance to think. I'll give you a chance to think about it then.
Give me a chance to think for a second.
I'll give you a chance to think. I like comedies, and even though there's a lot of serious movies like your Newt Rockney, your Brian Song, all of that, they're all serious. And then if you actually do watch them with a bunch of guys, you got to cry at the end. And everybody's not making eye contact, and you got to try and walk out of the room and wipe the tears out of your fucking eyes. So that doesn't work for me. The football movie, there's two of them actually, but I will mention the one that's my favorite, Necessary Roughness, written by David S. Ward. You have Rob Schneider in there. You have Kathy Ireland as the former soccer player or whatever. She turns out to be the kicker of the team. And you have Scott Bakula of Quantum Leap as the old fogey quarterback coming, and he needs to get college credit, so he plays football because he used to be a former player, and it is hilarious. And anybody that hasn't seen Necessary Roughness needs to go on Netflix or wherever the hell it is and go to it and laugh their ass off. Trey, you've seen this movie, right?
Oh, yeah, I've definitely seen that one. I actually went to the theater to see it, but I can't lie. I honestly haven't seen it since it's been in the movie theater, but I do remember laughing.
Good. Jenilee, can you come up with... I'm sure you got one.
I did come up with one.
Put you on the spot. I apologize.
I blanked because it's such an old movie, and I was only 1 year old when it came out. But it is like the movie that first popped into my head was Goldie Hawn and Wildcats. I just think that football movie is... I don't know, it's funny, and I remember just watching it when I was really, really young and didn't know anything about football, so, I don't know, always liked Goldie Hawn, so.
Yeah, I like that one. You're dealing with a young Woody Harrelson and a young Wesley Snipes, and, let's not forget the football. That song was absolutely great. That's a good pick.
Yep. I saw, now I'm going to with a few minutes to go, I'm going to age myself. I saw that at the drive-in. Yes, a drive-in where you drove your date in a car and sat in front of a screen. And
you all dated yourself a little bit.
I saw Wildcats at the drive-in and enjoyed it thoroughly. And yeah, I think everybody knew from then Wesley Snipes was going to be something. I mean, he was good in there, and there's a lot of other talent in there. But All right. Let's wrap this up. Trey, thank you for joining us. Ron, who's stuck in technical workshop, thank you for joining us from the Section 357 podcast. Definitely find them at facebook.com/357 and on iTunes, and listen to them, and you'll be hearing Jenilee on there soon. Thanks for joining us, Trey, man, and for all of your Titans knowledge.
Oh, man, I am so happy that you guys allowed us to be on the show. Let us be a piece of your world. Man, yeah, so let's gear up for this future challenge.
Definitely. We'll probably see you guys next on the video cast in a few weeks, where we're going to lay all this out and do it. Jenilee, any final words before we sign off here?
Just plugging our video cast. You guys keep going to the stream.tv to watch it. It is also on our YouTube channel, Big Balls Fantasy Football, and it's also on the Stream's YouTube channel, which is the Stream TV. So find us on there, because we definitely want your comments. We want to know what your favorite segments are, so we can keep those going. And we want your likes and all that stuff. And it's fun to see us, in person, and not just hear us over the podcast. So, get your friends and watch us and listen to us. And, of course, our official website, BigBallsFantasyFootball.com. We have pictures, and we have everything on our website you can imagine. So visit us.
Definitely, Jenilee. It's. I know it's weird to make the jump and to take the time to watch something visual, but it's a half hour. If you can listen to us here for an hour, walking around while you're exercising or doing whatever you're doing, you can sit at the computer for a half hour. You don't need to watch the whole thing. Watch part of it. Definitely comment.
And we give you guys different information on there, than we do on the podcast. So if you watch it and listen, you're getting, double the amount of information, which is pretty cool. And it's broken into segments as well on the Stream's YouTube. So if you have 3, 4, 5 minutes where you just want to watch something quick, the segments are broken down as well. So
we designed it so when you're sitting at LAX, ORD, any Logan, any old airport you want, LaGuardia, you need your picks Sunday morning, right? You're like, oh my God, I need to know what my picks are to put in on my phone here now that Yahoo has all their shit together on your cell phone. You can even draft on your cell phone now. Scary. We're there for you. Play the video. Watch us. We got your tips for you. All right, everybody. Let's wrap it up. Thanks a lot, Trey. Thanks a lot, Jenilee. And good night, everybody.
Yeah, good night. Thank you, Trey and Ron.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Your balls are showing. There are two types of balls. There are big brave balls, and there are little meat balls. Dicks have drive and clarity of vision.
The most important piece of equipment is called the cup. Now, it ain't no Dixie cup, and it ain't no coffee mug. And you certainly won't want to be drinking nothing out of it.
Hey, any balls down there? That's the biggest berry you ever seen, Dingleberry.
Wow, I play with these balls all day.
Well, it's my balls and my word, and I don't break them for no one.
He's one of those guys who will get penetration.